Om Namo Narayanaya. Namaskar to all of you. Praying to Lord Krishna to grant all of us knowledge and devotion. I will start with the prayer first to Guru Sri Ramakrishna. Then we will do the chanting of meditation verses on Bhagavad Gita. We have learned how to chant the first and second verses of the meditation. Today we will also learn the third one. 1, 2, 3 verses we shall learn today. Again, revision of the 2 verses and the third. Then after some introduction of Bhagavad Gita, then we will go to the proper first chapter where we will revise the first 2 verses again. Then we will go to the third verse. Now we shall start with the prayer. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avataravristhaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. I hope that all of you have the Bhagavad Gita book. Otherwise, the printed papers also will be given by our organizers. Now we shall chant the first verse on the meditation of Bhagavad Gita, Parthaya Pratibodhitam. Om Parthaya, please repeat, Parthaya Pratibodhitam Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Vyasena Grathitam Grathitam Puranamunina Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Ambatvam Anusandadhami Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Bhavadveshinim Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravind
पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः गीतामृतदुहे नमः। We shall stop the chanting of the meditation verses on Bhagavad Gita. There are totally 9 verses. We have completed 3 verses. We will continue in all the other classes and we'll be learning the chanting and also we'll be knowing the meaning. Today we have to go into the detail of this 3rd verse because there is one special mention of some mudra here. What is that? The 3rd verse of the meditation of Bhagavad Gita was Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraika Panaye Gnana Mudraya. See, Gnana Mudra means this one. This mudra is called Gnana Mudra. There are so many mudras. So we have to take up a little explanation of what is mudra today, which is very, very necessary. In Hinduism, there is a very important place in puja, in yoga, even in the classical dances. We have a very important role of this, any mudra, different mudras. This is one of the mudra. Lord Krishna is to be seen in the Dharmakshetra or Kurukshetra of the battlefield while he is in the chariot preaching Bhagavad Gita. Is having this Gnana Mudra. That's why you can see here salutation to Krishna with the right hand held in Gnana Mudra. The grantor of desire. What desire? Desire of knowledge of those who take refuge in him. The milker of the Gita nectar, in whose one hand is the cane. Why is he holding one hand the cane? To drive the horses. He is now acting as a charioteer. So in another hand, now he is preaching Bhagavad Gita. See the speciality here. At any given point of time, the perfect character, steady character is you should be this moment ready to preach knowledge. The next moment you should be ready to work. This combination of knowledge and work and calm meditation, intense activity is called Naishkarmya Siddhi, which is again treated in Bhagavad Gita. This mudra, Gnana Mudra, where Lord Krishna is giving the knowledge, ready to give the knowledge. In another hand, he is having the stick to control the horses. So we will go to the detail of what is Gnana Mudra. Before getting into what is this Gnana Mudra, why Krishna is holding it, before going into the detail, let me tell you what is the definition of this Gnana Mudra. A mudra is a sacred and symbolic gesture found in spirituality, yoga, Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, the most well-known mudra are used during yoga, pranayama, meditation practice as a means of channeling the flow of vital life, which is called prana shakti. You know, in our body, according to our scriptures, I don't know, the medical science have discovered different energies. Energies are called prana. If it is pranayama, don't get confused as breathing exercise. Breathing exercise is a very gross expression of pranayama. The real meaning of prana is energy, force, the vital forces which are in our body. How many vital forces are there in our body? There are 5. Prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. So these are the gross vital forces in our body. Other than that, there are 5 more subtle forces. Krikala, Kurma, Devadatta, like that. There are some more. So these are all the ways by which our great rishis, munis, saints have diagnosed, analyzed, and found all these subtle energies, the upgoing and downgoing energy flowing, that is apana, prana going up, vyana, udana, samana, and subtler forces. So every this energy have different mudras. When we are offering food to our own body, when we are offering food to God, we have to tell every day in the house of the Vipras or one who is doing the studies of Vedas, they have to take water, put around the plate where they are eating, and they will take the rice, 5 grains, then they will offer it to the energies within. Pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, samanaya swaha. And for each that energy, vital energy, there is one mudra. Pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, samanaya swaha. 5 mudras. So here, these mudras corresponding, see the physical thing in your hands, especially in the fingers, there are all the vital points of all the different organs of the body. That's why the acupressurist, you can go to the acupressurist and ask them, all the organs are there, the points in these hands. So when you do some postures, these poses, then what happens? The pranic energy will be energized or vitalized, or it will be awakened, and it will be flowing properly in different parts of the body for certain purposes. So we shall not go into the details of all that thing, because we will have to spend more time. We'll be going out of our study, that is Bhagavad Gita, because here Gnana Mudraya Krishnaya has been mentioned. I have taken up this. We will just tell about this mudra, this sacred and ritual gestures. Across various religious and spiritual traditions, there are believed to be more than 400 known mudras. In addition to their use as sacred and ritual gestures, they are employed in even the iconography of Indian religions. If you see the images, the gods and goddesses will have different mudras showing that they are sitting there expressing, manifesting some special spiritual knowledge. So whenever you see some mudras of different gods and goddesses, you can know. Like Lord Shiva is sitting in meditation, so he is meditating. Another, as Dakshinamurti, will be having Gnana Mudra, ready to give knowledge. Like that, every god and goddesses in the iconography also, you will find these mudras, which will show you what is the expression, the manifestation of energy in that god or goddess. So specific effect on the body and mind by clearing energetic pathways. Each individual mudra has unique symbolism and is thought to have a specific effect on the body and our mind, and it will be clearing energetic pathways. Although hand, hasta, mudras are the most common in yoga, there are also body, kaya, and conscious mudras. So in Hatha Yoga, the mudras will be for different aspects of the body. Let us not go into the detail. So now mudras are believed to have a powerful effect on our energies prana and are therefore typically performed alongside pranayama or meditation in order to amplify the effects of these practices. The most commonly used hasta mudras are, as we are studying now, Gnana Mudra. Also, another name for Gnana Mudra is Chin Mudra. It is arguably the most well-known of all the mudras practiced in Hinduism, Buddhism, and in yoga. In Gnana Mudra, the tip of the thumb and the index finger touch. The other three fingers are extending and the palm facing upwards. While you are meditating, you sit with your hands like this on the feet. But while you are teaching others here in the iconography or gods and goddesses, if it is there, is giving knowledge to us. This is the Gnana Mudra. It is believed to help still the mind and is therefore commonly used for meditation. Okay. Now we shall see in puja, this mudras are used. So what is the explanation of this mudras? Certain poses of the hand which are pleasing to all the devatas. When you put these mudras, arrange your fingers and body in different mudras, then what will happen? According to puja, certain poses of the hands which are pleasing to all the devatas, and by means of which all the burdens of sins are destroyed, are known as mudras. Mudras are used during worship, japa, meditation, invoking of the deities, installing of the deities, offering of the Naivedyam, etc. Each mudra has a definite significance, which one may try to discover by careful and reverential thought. Now, in puja, they also use this mudra and corresponding mantras also will be chanted. Or bija mantra, single syllable mantras also will be chanted. So now I will show some of the few mudras in puja so that you will have an idea. So now this is Dhenu Mudra. And while putting this, the bija mantra used is Vam, Varuna bija mantra. What is this used? To make the food or the items which you are doing the puja nectaring, Amrutamaya, consciousness, full of Vam. Then your mind, correspondingly, you have to think all the things which you are doing the puja and everything there has become nectar in Amrutamaya or consciousness. This is Avagunthana Mudra, covering something, the food material which you are offering or some other things here, you are covering it. See, when the mothers in Indian, this thing, they have a pallu. They will put this on the thing. While they are lifting it from the head or covering it, they use this mudra in these two fingers, covering. So that's why it is called Avagunthana, like this. Either you are covering to protect that food material which is offered to God or all the puja material, or secondly, see, why do we use it? To remove also the covering of the face. So to remove the layer of ignorance, also Avagunthana. Then the mantra is told Om. What is the bija mantra used for that? Om, to raise the kundalini, to what you call energize or to awaken the kundalini. The Om bija mantra is used. So likewise, there are so many other mudra, and similar to this Gnana Mudra, in our puja, we use one more mudra. It is very similar to it, but the way it is used is different. And what is that? It is called Naracha Mudra. What is this Naracha Mudra? Again, same thing. We take akshata or some other thing. This is the pose. Have you seen? This pose is used while you are delivering the arrow from the bow. You catch hold of the arrow in this mudra, release, pull it and leave it. This posture. So this is called Naracha Mudra. There it is Gnana Mudra. Purpose is different. Mantra is different. Bija Mantra. Here it is Naracha Mudra. What is it used? Join the tip of the thumb and the four fingers of the right hand and stretch the other fingers upwards. Place this hand wherein the mudra has been formed near the right shoulder. So the mantra here for meditation, here. Then for preaching, here. When you are using it as a weapon or chasing away the bad negative forces, here. This mudra used at the time of removal of the evil spirits. Bhuta Apasarana. The idea behind this mudra is that the worshipper is, as it were, picking arrows to destroy evil influences from out of the quiver hung at the back of the right shoulder. So like that, you have studied something about Gnana Mudra and some other mudras. Now we will come into the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna, while preaching this thing, Bhagavad Gita, he is in the right hand holding the Gnana Mudra. Significance of this Gnana Mudra. We will go little detail of it because it's very, very necessary to know it. By this, we will also correspondingly know the other features of other mudras too. It's very important. This verse describes Shri Krishna with his right hand held in Gnana Mudra. This is a remarkable concept in Indian Vedantic philosophy and spirituality. It holds that there is a deep significance for this particular Gnana Mudra, knowledge pose. So you can call it in English as knowledge pose. When the thumb is opposed to the forefinger and all the other three fingers are stretched out. Our body postures have psychological counterparts. How? Can you cite some example? Yes. As the mind is, so is the body. Your thoughts, your mind, state of the mind gives out in the form of your postures of the body. That's why it is called body language. By the body language, you can know what is your state of mind. That's why studying this Gnana Mudra and other mudras is important. Even in the dance, they use so many mudras. So by that mudra, there will be no speaking. By that body language of the mudras, they will be telling what is the expression or the language. The whole language is spoken there. Just by the mudra, the whole language is spoken there. Krishna is dancing, he wants to eat something, he's running away. Everything is shown by mudras. So the thought are expressed outside through mudras, or the mudras will show what is within your mind. So that is the importance of mudra. So here, now let us see. You are lying down in a particular way. That will show a certain state of your mind. You sit in a particular way. You will find your psyche manifesting in that particular posture, in a particular way. Suppose many of the youngsters you can see. Why youngsters? Even the old people also. They will sit on the table while eating, while drinking coffee or speaking. You should see their legs will be shaking violently. They can't keep their legs properly. Either one of the legs will be shaking or one will be putting on the other leg and they will be shaking their legs like this. What is it showing? The restlessness of the mind. The mind is restless. Now, automatically, without your knowledge, this shaking of the mind, you can see this person is restless in mind. So you're giving out your secret without you yourself knowing. People who are expert in that, this thing, physiognomy, Angasamudrika, Mukhasamudrika, Ramakrishna learned that wonderful knowledge he had. He was expert in that. Anybody who has learned that, just by looking at you, they can know what is going on within your mind. So that's why the mudras can tell something which is within your mind. Suppose one is constantly shaking one's legs while sitting, that shows a scattered mental state. In all these matters, the body shows the effect of the psyche. So from that point of view, Gnana Mudra is a remarkable sign of some profound psychic expression. The very name shows that is knowledge, the pose of knowledge. Gnana Mudra, that mudra represents knowledge, gnana. Knowledge of every type, not only spiritual, knowledge of every type. Our Indian people, our Hindus, our great rishis, they didn't separate sacred and spiritual. For them, knowledge was one. That's why for everything, even while studying the, what you call, science, commerce and other things, there's a breadwinning education, the secular education too. Who is the master of that, or who is the goddess of that? Saraswati. For both spiritual and secular. What is she holding? See, another mudra again. What is that she is holding? She is holding Veena. What is Veena representing? The lute? The Lalita Kala, fine arts, knowledge of the fine art. What is she holding in another hand? A book. What is it representing? It is representing she is the goddess or the master of secular knowledge, breadwinning education, science, arts, and other things. In another hand, what is she holding? Japamala. What is it representing? Spiritual knowledge. See, every pose of God is here, is showing knowledge and knowledge and knowledge. So knowledge is not differentiated. That's why Mother Saraswati represent that. So from the, we see that knowledge of every type is there in Hinduism, from the ordinary or secular knowledge to the highest spiritual knowledge. We in India never made any wide distinction between secular knowledge and sacred knowledge. To us, all knowledge is sacred. Remember that there is only one goddess, Saraswati, who represents all knowledge and techniques. Unity of all knowledge is a profound idea in our Indian tradition. We may create different departments of knowledge for purpose of study, but we should not break up the unity of knowledge. That's why, what is the meaning of Vedas, our sacred scriptures? The meaning of Veda is Gnana Rashi, heap of knowledge. It is both sacred, secular, any type of knowledge. Heap of knowledge is Veda. Veda means, the meaning, literal meaning of Veda means heap of knowledge. That's all. Nothing else. Vedas means heap of knowledge. So knowledge, whether sacred or spiritual, is very, very important, and it is represented by Mother Saraswati. Remember that there is only one goddess, Saraswati, who represents all knowledge and techniques. Unity of all knowledge is a profound idea in our Indian tradition. We may create different departments of knowledge for purpose of study, but we should not break up the unity of knowledge. That is our teaching in India. So we have this idea that knowledge is the greatest thing to be sought after. So how should we now give up or destroy ignorance or darkness? The only way is to bring in knowledge, the light of knowledge. There is no other go. So seeking knowledge is very, very important. What is the message of Sri Ramakrishna? Have you heard it? Do you remember? Javat bachi tavat shiki, in Bengal he tells, meaning, as long do I live, so long do I learn. As long do I live, so long do I learn. What do we do? The moment examination is over, then you will throw away the book to bind the bhajia. You will give it to the shop, second-hand shop, isn't it? You will throw away your books, textbook and other things. But real examination starts when you enter into the life, the activity. All that knowledge is to be used. We will throw away everything. So seeking knowledge always, Ramakrishna has shown us that ideal of Saraswati. What is that? As long do I live, so long do I learn. If you are worshipping Ramakrishna, not that you will take some agarbatti and you will go and fall at his feet. Real worship is to inculcate these wonderful teachings, ideals of Ramakrishna into your life. Then only you are real followers. So you should also seek knowledge until the end of your life. Then you are real followers of Ramakrishna, or you are real followers of Lord Krishna, or you are real worshipper of Mother Saraswati. So that is our teaching in India. So we have this idea that the knowledge is the greatest thing to be sought after. What is the Sanskrit verse? Vidyadanam Sarva Dhana Pradhanam. Vidyadanam Sarva Dhana Pradhanam. The wealth of knowledge is supreme among all forms of wealth. You may be the king of this country. You are respected only in your country. If you go to the next country, you are not respected. But if you have knowledge, you go to whichever country, you are respected. That is the power of knowledge. That's why Vivekananda uses the word, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Vidya Dhanam Sarva Dhana Pradhanam. Vidya Dhanam, the wealth of knowledge, is supreme among all forms of wealth. There is nothing in this world so purifying as knowledge, says Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 38th verse. What is Lord Krishna is telling? Nahi gnanena sadrusham pavitramiham vidyate. You think by taking bath, you putting on the lotions and soap, you get purified, isn't it? But Krishna is telling real purification is by knowledge. Nahi gnanena sadrusham pavitramiha vidyate. That is the motto of some of our universities in India. They put this on their heading there, out of the university. What is that? There is nothing in this world so purifying as knowledge. That is the words of Bhagavad Gita. A human being is a human being because he has an organic capacity to seek knowledge. Otherwise, he is an animal. Animals have only instinctive apparatus within and are completely controlled by genetic system. The human being, however, has been put on the road of making research into the world of knowledge. The world of knowledge may be secular or spiritual, but all knowledge is sacred to us in India. We start with the secular and continue to search to the spiritual, from physics to metaphysics. Now, how to represent this search of knowledge through particular posture, Gnana Mudra? Our ancient sages discovered this wonderful mudra, Gnana Mudra, which can describe the entire gamut of this search for knowledge. This Gnana Mudra represent the entire gamut of search for knowledge, just like Om represent the entire universe or gods and goddesses and also the sound. In just Om, A, U, Ma, the whole gamut of sound is hidden. Likewise, in the Gnana Mudra, our ancient sage discovered this wonderful mudra which can describe the entire gamut of this search for knowledge. That is something extraordinary. Now, revered Swami Ranganathanandaji Maharaj, who was the president of our order earlier, he's telling that this search for knowledge is something extraordinary. I used to wonder about it later on, some years ago, that is long back when he was studying. When I studied neurology, biology and elite subjects, I found one wonderful truth, and that is no animal, not even apes, not even chimpanzee, which is very, very closer to human beings, can have the thumbs and the forefinger together. No animal, even apes or gorilla, cannot put this Gnana Mudra. Only human beings. Even a child can put this, human beings. Why? You have the possibility of seeking knowledge. Try with that. Animals try to put that. Can't. That's what Ranganathanandaji Maharaj is telling. I found one wonderful truth, that is no animals, not even chimpanzee or apes, can oppose the thumb to the forefingers, but only the human child can do this. Revered Ranganathanandaji Maharaj is telling, while in Holland, he saw a documentary of film on chimpanzee's behavior. A chimpanzee is holding a branch from a tree with his palm enclosing all the fingers and beating it on the ground to drive away the enemy. When you hold a branch like that, the grip has no strength at all. One cannot impart energy to the use of the branch until the thumb comes to the prominence in operation. In all animals, the thumb does not know how to cooperate with the other fingers, particularly with the four fingers. However, at the human level of evolution, for the first time, the human being learned to oppose the thumb to the forefinger. This is the beginning of humanity's technical efficiency, his or her capacity to handle tools, his capacity to manipulate the world around him and acquire knowledge. The human being entered into the world of gnana or knowledge with this initial physical capacity. That is why this opposing of the thumb to the forefinger is highly symbolic of man's search for knowledge from the most ordinary to the most extraordinary level. Further, Ranganathanandaji Maharaj is telling, I found this perfectly valid for the scientific point of view. Then I also found that the number of brain cells, note it, the number of brain cells needed to manipulate these two fingers is the largest compared to all other fingers. If the thumb is cut off, the manipulating efficiency of the hand will suffer automatically. In Mahabharata, we read, Dronacharya, the teacher of archery, asked Ekalavya to cut off his thumb and offer it to him as his Guru Dakshina, or offering to the Guru, so that he does not successfully compete with his favorite student Arjuna. And Ekalavya obeyed the command of Drona because he respected his own teacher. The British rulers of India, because their cloths from Lancashire or whatever that England couldn't compete with the textiles of India. The muslin cloth, the Banarasi saris, they were so fine and so beautiful. The muslin cloth of Dhaka, they could put so many yards of sari into one matchbox. So they wanted money, business. So if they are allowed, the people there in Dhaka and other places to compete, now they can't get money. What did they do? They call all those weavers, muslin cloth weavers. And they told, we are going to reward the British rulers of India. They have said to cut off the thumbs of the weavers. They cut off all the thumbs of the weavers because they cannot compete now with the textiles of coming from England, who were fine Dhaka muslin cloths, so they may not compete with their own Lancashire weavers. So the importance of the thumb and the capacity to oppose it to the forefinger is the beginning of the man's march to knowledge, secular and spiritual. There is no distinction between secular and spiritual so far as knowledge is concerned. All knowledge is sacred. On the Saraswati Puja day, we find all instruments in India, knowledge are placed in front of Saraswati. So now we can go on talking about this subject a lot, but I have to stop because I have to enter Bhagavad Gita. But even then, now you have come to know what is the significance of Krishna while giving Bhagavad Gita is holding the Gnana Mudra. Okay, now we shall come to little more introductory part of Bhagavad Gita, a little, and then go to the proper Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, presenting as it does a credible worldview and a faith that is both broad and inspiring. Its appeal is to the conscience of the spiritually sensitive sections of humanity everywhere, irrespective of their religious affiliations. We have therefore described it, that is Bhagavad Gita, as the scripture of mankind. It is for this reason that it has become one of the most oft translated works. English itself having more than 50 translation Bhagavad Gita. Other scriptures, they are given money by those people of that religion, so they are translated. But Bhagavad Gita has been translated to different languages of the world because of the love of the knowledge which it has. In English itself, there are 50 translations of Bhagavad Gita. Can you imagine? So that is Bhagavad Gita. English itself having more than 50 translations, besides others in all the Indian languages and in some of the other foreign languages as well. A recognition of this universality of Gita is made in a slightly garbled form by Fokker. Who was this Fokker? A Christian, well-known Christian missionary. So his negative statement itself is showing how great is Bhagavad Gita. What has he told? This Christian missionary, well-known Christian missionary, scholar of conservative views, when he says that Jesus is the reality of which the Bhagavad Gita gives an imaginative picture, and that the author of Bhagavad Gita would have been a Christian had he known Jesus Christ. So this negative statement of this Christian missionary itself shows how great is Bhagavad Gita. What is he telling? This Christian missionary, scholar of conservative views, when he says that Jesus is the reality of which the Gita gives an imaginative picture, and that the author of Gita would have been a Christian had he known Jesus. But even before Jesus Christ, Krishna had given this wonderful scripture thousands of years before and gone. So far more correct it would have been to say that had the author of Bhagavad Gita and the deliverer of the Sermon on the Mount, that is Jesus, met, they would have recognized in each other a kindred spirit teaching an identical message, only with modification as necessitated by variations in time and place. That is Hinduism. Hinduism tells if both of them would have met, they would have seen the same teachings kindred by both of them, given in different perspective, because they were the expression, manifestation of the same Lord. That is the speciality of Hinduism and Bhagavad Gita. Now we shall enter into this wonderful scripture called Bhagavad Gita. We have chanted the first and the second verses, and now we will also chant that again, 1, 2, 3, third, fourth if possible, and then go forward. I think you have, all of you have the books, so we will chant that verses. The loud chanting of the verses has a salutary effect on our mind. It purifies. Mantras, see, it could have been written in a prose form or something like a lecture. But Vyasa Maharshi, the great Rishi, one of the avatar of Narayana, he has placed it in this format, Bhagavad Gita. Why? It has been put into such a way like a mantra, because the chanting of that will purify our mind. That's why you have to chant it, you have to loudly chant it. So that is the salutary effect or the special effect, purifying effect of chanting Bhagavad Gita or any other mantra. So I request all of you to learn the chanting properly and chant it. So the first verse of the first chapter, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. So what is that first Uvacha? Dhritarashtra Uvacha. The father of the Kauravas, Dhritarashtra, blind king, is asking Sanjaya. So Dhritarashtra Uvacha, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Please tell. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. Mamakaः Pandavaschaiva. Mamakaः Pandavaschaiva. Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Kimakurvata Sanjaya. the second verse, we'll go to the second verse. We have already learned the chanting. This is revision. Sanjaya Uvacha, Sanjaya Uvacha, Drishtva tu Pandavanekam, Drishtva tu Pandavanekam, Vyudham Duryodhanastada, Vyudham Duryodhanastada, Acharyamupasanggamya, Acharyamupasanggamya, Raja Vachanamabravit, Raja Vachanamabravit. So we have learned the second verse. Now we are going to study the chanting of third verse. Pashyaitam Panduputranam, Pashyaitam Panduputranam, Acharya Mahatim Chamu, Acharya Mahatim Chamu, Vyudham Drupada Putreda, Vyudham Drupada Putrena, Tava Shishyena Dhimata, Tava Shishyena Dhimata. We'll make a short study of the first and second verses, though I have explained about that in detail, so that we will get a link to the third verse. What is that? Dhritarashtra Uvacha, the first verse, where Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya, sitting in the palace, because he's blind, he can't go to the battlefield and watch everything. Sanjaya has been gifted the power to see everything, even to know the feelings of those people, warriors who are there, and he is giving a running commentary of the whole thing on the battlefield. So Dhritarashtra is asking him, assembled Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsaha, assembled on the sacred field of Kurukshetra, desirous to fight. What did the sons of Pandu and mine, that is Kauravas, O Sanjaya, now what are they doing there, assembled there? So now here, what is Dhritarashtra's blindness showing us? Dhritarashtra is infatuated with his son, Vyamoha. This weakness of his feeds the lust of Kauravas for the sovereignty of the kingdom. The weakness of the parents tells upon the character of the children. So you can see here, Mahabharata is teaching us, Bhagavad Gita is teaching us wonderful thing. How the parents are, it will tell upon the character of the children. Dhritarashtra, because of his infatuation, Vyamoha, for his children, this weakness of his feeds the lust of the Kauravas. Dhritarashtra, see now we shall connect. Earlier it was a story, the history, but now we will connect it to our life. That is very, very important. Bhagavad Gita or any other thing, I try to connect it to my life. Now we shall all connect it to all our life. How? Dhritarashtra represents our mind. And what about Kauravas, his children? The Kauravas are vicious nature in our mind. What about Pandavas? They are the virtuous nature in our mind. They are the vices, and here virtue. The Kauravas and the Pandavas represents and the good tendencies respectively in our personality. The mind is ever always attached towards the negative tendencies. Dhritarashtra is attached to the negative children. Though Pandavas were good and they were also his own brother's children. So our mind are always attracted towards the negative tendencies. It staunchly defends these negative tendencies. As a result, there is an incessant conflict between our good and evil tendencies in all of us, in the human being. Every human being, this conflict is constantly going on. This is the significance of this war. Okay, you got the significance, connecting it to our life. The Bhagavad Gita starts with the word Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra. These are the two words it starts. These opening words powerfully suggest the fall of mankind from the state of perfection. How? Dharmakshetra means the field of piety, dharma, virtue. And what is Kurukshetra? The field of conflict. The former denotes, that is, Dharmakshetra denotes the original stature of human beings. Our true nature is divine. We have fallen from that stature due to attachment and ignorance, where to the field of conflict. Dharmakshetra means the field of piety, and Kurukshetra, the field of conflict. The former denotes the original stature of human beings, a state of human perfection, of piety, righteousness, and divinity. From the height of perfection, man has fallen into a state of confusion and conflict within himself. His life is riddled with trials and tribulation, worries and anxieties, stress and strain. A Dharmakshetra has been reduced to the war, Kurukshetra, which is happening in all of us. Now, what is the role of Bhagavad Gita? The role of Bhagavad Gita is to rehabilitate and restore man to his original state of being. Now, you can connect Bhagavad Gita to your life. Like that, every step, every verse, we will connect it to our life. Okay? Now, the next verse was the second verse, Sanjay Uvacha, Drishtva tu Pandava Anekam Vyudham Duryodhanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. Sanjay said, indeed, having seen the army of the Pandavas arrayed in battle, King Duryodhana then approached his teacher, Drona, and spoke these words. So, in this second topic, covering from the second verse to the 11th verse, Duryodhana betrays his vanity and fear. As I told you many times, when you are silent, you don't talk anything, people will think, oh, you are a very great person. Such a fine person, keep quiet. The moment you open your mouth, your real color will come out. You are giving up your real self. So in India, there is a saying, Bhai bittare banna kedu. Open your mouth and your real color comes out. So here Duryodhana, now he's speaking from the second verse, afterwards, third, fourth, fifth, up to the 11th verse, he betrays his vanity and fear. So every word, not only the body language, every words of your is showing what is happening in your mind, what is your nature. You know, in Bangalore, there is one school, college, and then America, there is another. Only two schools are there. What is that? Handwriting analysis school. They teach handwriting analysis. How do you write the handwriting? Is there loops? How do you put the T, the top on that? How do you write every words? Denotes your thought, your character. Your handwriting comes, your thought comes in the form of your handwriting. If you slant towards right thing, your nature is different. If your slant is towards the left, your nature is different. If it is straight like this, your nature is different. By changing the handwriting, you can change your character. That is the idea of the teaching or the school, where they will teach you to change your character, the right way of writing, handwriting, you can change your character. We had called those wonderful experts to teach our students there. I used to study there of all those things. So likewise here, every word of your will give out what your nature is. So be careful weigh your words and then speak. Don't go on babbling something without control. Everything gives out something. Let us see, study the Duryodhana's psychology by which we can learn so many things. There is no need of that you should commit the mistake and learn it. We can learn by the mistake of others. Why should we waste the time by committing the mistake and then learning? It will take a long time. Instead, by the mistakes committed by the others, we can learn wonderful lessons. So we shall learn by the mistakes of Duryodhana. So here, up to the 11th verse, it is all it betrays the vanity and fear of Duryodhana. See the name itself, can you see? Duryodhana. The word itself is indicating something miss here. Duryodhana. Another son, his brother, Dushasana. All the 100 brothers, the name was Dur, something like that. Giving out something, even the name carries some meaning. So Sanjaya now begins his account of the proceedings on the battlefield. Duryodhana, the eldest brother of the Kauravas, sees the army of the Pandavas arrayed in the battle. He approaches his teacher, Dronacharya, also called Drona, and he speaks to him. Drona is the revered teacher of both the branches of royal family. So Dhritarashtra and Pandu, they were brothers. And Kauravas were the children of Dhritarashtra. Pandavas were the children of Pandu. They're very close relatives. So Dronacharya, when they were children, he came and taught them archery and all other different signs of warfare to them. Dronacharya, also called Drona, and speaks to, now Duryodhana is speaking to him. Drona is the revered teacher of both branches of the royal family. He had taught archery to both the Kauravas and the Pandava warriors, including Duryodhana. Now, the choice of the word here, Sanjaya, is using some words, and our Vyasa is putting those words in this mantra. So every word will denote something here in this verse, in these verses. What is that? Now let us see the choice of the word Raja, king. In the second line, what is that? Acharya upasangamya Raja vachanam abravit. So the word Raja, king, in conjunction with the word teacher, Acharya, suggests a lack of devotion and reverence on the part of Duryodhana. Why? Sanjaya had the power to even understand the minds of those people, warriors there. Dronacharya had given that power to him. So that word Raja, in conjunction with the word teacher, Acharya, suggests a lack of devotion and reverence on the part of Duryodhana towards his own master who taught him the art of warfare, which he is about to use. Though stationed on the battlefield as a soldier, now he's just a soldier. Dronacharya is the commander who is leading the army. He's just a soldier. But still he retains the haughty demeanor of the king in Hastinapura, even while addressing his own teacher and now the commander of the army, Drona. So this illustrates the vain nature of Duryodhana. The first chapter is full of such psychological implications. Now we have only some more time. We will quickly go to the third verse. What is that? Pashyaitam Panduputranam Acharyam Mahatim Chamum Vyudham Dupadaputrena Tavashishyena Dhimata. Behold, O teacher, he is telling Drona, this mighty army of the sons of Pandu arrayed for battle by the son of Drupada, your wise pupil. Duryodhana asks his teacher Drona, behold the army of Pandavas. He's seeing it, but he's still pricking his teacher. What is he telling? Behold the army of your other students. He refers to the opposing army as mighty. Though, in fact, it had only 7 Akshauhini, that is battalion. Akshauhini Sena means battalion. It had only 7. But Duryodhana himself had 11 battalions. But still he is mentioning their army is mighty. Pandavas had only 7. See, another speciality of this Mahabharata and this thing. Totally, what was the battalions fighting here? 18 battalions are fighting each other. What is the number of chapter of this thing? Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapter. You will see so many 18s coming here. Okay, 18 chapter fought each other, battalion. In the next class, I will give you the detail of what is one Akshauhini Sena, what will be there, how many horses will be there, how many elephants will be there, how many archers will be there, how many swordsmen will be there, how many horses cavalry will be there. Together, all together is called one Akshauhini Sena. I will give you all the details next time. But now, let us finish this study of the 3rd chapter. Now, Duryodhana himself had 11 battalions, besides having larger forces and great warriors like Duryodhana himself was a stalwart. Bhishmacharya was unbeatable by even Parashurama, one of the avatars, and he is one of the commanders. And he is having Dronacharya, who has taught archery to everybody. So many great warriors are there. Besides having larger forces, Duryodhana had stalwarts like Bhishma and Drona on his side, yet he considers the opposing army as mighty and also telling it to the teacher. What does that show? What is his state of mind? This suggests an element of fear and guilt conscience. As I told you, every word will give out the secret of your mind. Fear arises out of guilt of wrongdoing. All his life he was doing only bad things. Duryodhana is vicious and corrupt. He has stooped to the most wicked actions in his effort to destroy the Pandavas. His guilt now manifests on the battlefield as fear. You know, in English there is a saying, it is something connected to psychology. What is that? The other man's pasture. Suppose you have a compound, you have the grass, the pasture there. You to have the same grass on your lawn too. The neighbor's grass also, it's the same grass. But for you, when you look at that, the other man's pasture looks greener. Have you heard about this in English? The other man's pasture looks greener. It's a state of our mind, negative state of our mind. Though the same greenness here, the same family of grass has been put there, but still it looks as if the other man's neighbor, always we compare. We are not satisfied with ourselves. That state you can see in Duryodhana. So now analyze your own mind. Do you have this nature? All this is studied. We study Bhagavad Gita, everything, not to find faults in Duryodhana and other people point fingers at others, to study my own mind and remove all those bad qualities is given by Bhagavad Gita here. So now that guilt conscience is there. Duryodhana refers to his cousins as sons of Pandu, though Pandu is his kaka. And their children, he's telling sons of Pandu, is addressing them. Duryodhana refers to his cousins as sons of Pandu and to Drishtadyumna as the son of Drupada. This subtly suggests the distance he feels and the disregard he holds for his close relatives. It reveals his selfish and self-centered nature. Also, his casual remark that the sons of Drupada is thy wise disciple speaks of his inherent frustration. The sarcasm to his own guru. He is using sarcastic words to his own guru. This sarcasm betrays his bitterness towards Dronacharya for his having trained the excellent pupil Drishtadyumna, who now commands the force which opposes him. So we will stop here. It's exactly 8 o'clock now. So we will give some time for questions if you have any. The next class, I will take up this 3rd verse and go into the details, because it is all the study of our own mind. It's our own nature is being studied, and we can learn our own subconscious mind by this. So we'll go to the details of the 3rd verse in the next thing. Little introduction. Every time we will have some introduction. And see, real Bhagavad Gita is not just started. The teachings of Krishna will start only in the second chapter, 12th verse. Until then, it is just study of our own nature, study of different characters, so that we can understand our own nature, where we are, what is our state of evolution. You can identify with those characters. Then correct yourself. Then the teaching of Krishna will help us to correct ourselves. Okay, any questions on what we have studied today? If you have, then I'll answer. Otherwise, we will close with the another verse of the meditation of Bhagavad Gita. Feel shy to ask in front of everybody. Even after the class outside, you can ask the question. Mukam karoti vachalam. Mukam karoti vachalam. Pangum langhayate girim. Pangum langhayate girim. Yat kripatamaham vande. Yat kripatamaham vande. Paramanandamadhavam. Paramanandamadhavam. As I have explained in earlier classes, Mukam, dumb, person who can't speak, dumb person. Karoti vachalam, he can be transformed into an eloquent speaker, a talkative person. Pangum, pangu means a lame person, langda, who can't walk. Pangum, langhayate girim, can be made to jump a big mountain. By whom? By what? Yat kripa, if we have the grace of that Lord. Tamaham vande, to that Lord I bow down. Madhavam, here Lord Krishna. Why is he called Madhava? Ma means Lakshmi. Dhava means husband or the lover. So, do you know the name of Lord Shiva similarly like that? If Krishna or Vishnu is called Madhava, similar word is there for Shiva. Anybody can tell? Any Sanskrit specialist here who can tell the name of Shiva? In the same fashion, Ma means Lakshmi. Dhava means the husband or the lover. So Madhava means either Vishnu or Krishna. Shiva's name in that? Umadhava. Who is Uma? Parvati. Dhava means again lover. So here Madhava. There Shiva Umadhava. That's all. So by his grace, even things miraculous which can't be done. A dumb person cannot speak, but with his grace, when a dumb person can become an expert lecturer, and a person who can't even walk properly can jump the mountain. Yat kripa tamaham vande, if you have the grace of the Lord, nothing impossible. That is the meditation words on Bhagavad Gita or Krishna. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.